This is where they recovered 2 bodies from.
The boy was 7 and his dad, and that the mother was missing. Nobody knows where they come from.
See that motor home? There's a body pulled out of that one. That's a dog sniff it. And if they get smell of a carcass, a body on there, then they know they're getting close.
So I found a little shelter where, the zip line has platforms.
But there's no markings on this one.
It was very scary.
Green River Cove, located about 43 miles southeast of Asheville, was once a lush area lined with trees along the river. Now it resembles a war zone, with approximately 40 homes swept away by the devastation.
Finding out that there was other bodies that had to have been from way upstream, maybe Henderson County side, to know that they have found these bodies. But nobody's hearing about that on the news.
All right, guys, so right now I'm with John Ward. He's doing great work bringing awareness and helping families out here, and he's going to show us this entire area that was wiped out.
This is where they recovered 2 bodies from. You can see the hole right here. They excavated the bodies out, and we're going to walk right over here and show where they first came. All right, so right here I've learned, since I've filmed here, a few things. Come right around this way, Olivia,
Oh, yeah.
so you can see this. So this stands for South Carolina Search and Rescue, and this is Gunner, the dog that hit the spot. And this was this would have been
October 5th?
October 5th at 12 o'clock when they first got the scent. So they get the scent and they marked it here, but over here's where the bodies was actually excavated from. And I guess they came back. And I've learned also, since I've been here, about this pole in the ground, and they've left it, but I'll tell you what it's for.
Wow. Careful, careful.
So this rod that's left here, but what they would do, they stick this rod down into the sand, and they pull it back out, and the dog sniffs it and can smell it. So this one got left here. But here, these markers, they're up high because they did this before the dirt was excavated. And we've not, on this side over here,
Yeah, let's see what it
well,
says.
it's washed off now. The markings is, no, right here. Come around this way, Lydia. You can see it right here.
Oh,
see
yeah,
this right
I
here?
see.
So that's Team ADU. Some people had made some comments of what that means. I think it's the team name, but some people says it stands for adult. Then you have TFR, total fatality. I don't know what that means for sure. I had a lot of people make comments about it, but the people that work on the search and rescue, they have to sign a confidentiality agreement. They can't talk about this, once they recover a body, they can't go home and tell everybody and talk to the news. It's confidential because these bodies are taken to DMORT. It's part of the Health and Human Services Division, where they come in where natural disasters happen, plane crashes, fires. Because the hospitals can't take in all the bodies, they come in and set up camps. And a lot of one of the camps, pretty sure out of, I think it's west of Nashville, huge camp. I've seen somebody that's done some drone shots of it. It has probably 40 trailers that's refrigerated, most likely for the bodies. And then they have the mortuary set up. DMORT stands for Disaster Mortuary Operational Response Team, I think, and I could be wrong. But they have a website. They're on the Health and Human Services YouTube channel, and they actually made a press conference October 5th at the hospital there in Asheville. And they talk about DMORT setting up, but a lot of people don't know what that means. But they recover the bodies, and the bodies are never put on the death toll until they've been identified. So they'll be, like from 9/11, there's bodies that was never identified. Although they probably had a pretty good count of how many people was there or missing. But in a situation like this, where so many people was homeless in Nashville, they got swept away, a lot of homeless camps there. Some people say they could be 1,000, 2,000 more deaths, because last count there was 102 people in North Carolina. We're in Polk County, right outside of Saluda. There's one official death, and that was from a mudslide. And her husband survived, so he could identify who she was. It was right there at her house. But in these situations, these bodies, we don't know where they washed from. On my very first video that I filmed here October 20th with Fast Fred, I come down, that's when I met Jake and some other people that I've been working with ever since. I've been here for over a month. Thought I was gonna come do one story, and I've been continually every 2 days putting the story out. And it took me up to just about a week or so ago till I actually found this. There's another spot up here. I've not found where it's marked necessarily, but there's supposed to be one more body that from the locals here that live here, say that was in a motorhome, that maybe was on the other side other side of the river that got washed away, and fatality in that. So we know there's probably 3 bodies that came out here, and there's supposedly 1 body missing. This was a husband and wife. Well, it's a husband and his son, and the wife's body's not been recovered yet. So it's probably, could be on down the road, down the river, or a lot of times, as you saw in the truck that was excavated, they get mangled, and they say it's mainly body parts. And so each part has to have a bag. So they might have limbs and different parts, and until they had used DNA to match them up, they don't even know when they've got a whole body. So this could take years for them to identify that. A lot of people want to know why they don't just give a count of the dead. They really don't know sometimes because there's just a lot of parts here and there. But apparently it's going to be possibly in the 1,000 or more, not 100, but they've just not been identified yet.
That pole right there.
This pole was, I didn't know what it was, but I filmed it in my original. I said, this is new, this wasn't here. What's this for? And somebody said, that's what they stick into the ground, and they pull it out, and they let the dog sniff it. And if they get smell of a carcass or body on there, then they know they're getting close. So that's how they excavated all of this here.
There was a house
The house was right here. That was the porch there, but this is where they excavated it out to get the bodies out, yeah. Owner Hector up here, he was on the road. A lot of people here, but you're not going to get to come down here and see this unless you're a part of the recovery team. And I don't think you probably want to see that anyways. So this was Hector's property. His house was right in here, part of it. It was 2 parts. He had a bathroom here, and his kitchen was built over here. And he has no idea where his house went. But on his property right here, you can't see it from down here, but there's 70 dump truck loads of 2 houses that Jake excavated off of the property, moved up to the top road to be picked up. So that was 2 houses, right, his neighbor's houses right up here. So this whole area was homes. It wasn't Fish Top. It was from all the way back down there to Fish Top. It wasn't no homes on Fish Top. That's where people would access the river. So you're in the places where they were homes at one time that's no more.
Yeah, so the Green River is what flooded right here.
27 counties in North Carolina is a disaster area from the floods, but this just happened to be one of probably the top 6 that I can tell, probably the top 6 places that they have the most devastation.
Wow.
But they're getting, Hector's going to put another trailer up here, so he's getting his electrical done. This time he's going to put up here on the hill so he doesn't have to worry about it flooding. Jake brought out of here. These are dump truck loads of houses that was on their property down there. See, these is other people's houses.
These are just houses.
And they hit right down in here and clogged up. Yeah, there's 70 loads all the way up through there that was on their property. Yeah, so these are 2 houses that washed into their property, and their house, they don't know where it's at. So we're gonna walk down here and I'm gonna show you another house.
John points out another tree marked with orange, indicating the possible discovery of another body at this location.
I'm gonna come back and do an interview. This is a veteran and his wife lives here, and
What are they doing?
they're living with probably their kids. Jake was pulling stuff out of here the other day, debris that was metal debris that washed from somebody else's house, most likely. So we won't go onto their property, but we'll make a left right here since they're not here. Now, you see that house?
Oh, it's just tipped over.
You couldn't see it from the road. I just saw it the other day. The water, you see that door? There's a basement, and the water got up above that door, that front door and them steps. I think it's 20 feet, about 18 feet it got into it. You can see the water lines a little bit if you know what you're looking for, right? Between those windows, you can see a little bit of the water line.
What does SFR mean?
That I'm not for sure, but originally it meant that it was checked by the fire department. I was told by the homeowner that it's supposed to be a tear down, that it didn't. And I don't know, and it could be that means that they checked it for bodies. Also, somebody in the comments probably can tell us. I don't know whose house this right here is, no clue. I have not filmed this house myself yet. I've filmed so many things here, I just haven't had time to do everything. No, it didn't come from far. You can see the foundation over here.
It almost looks like this is a set of a movie or something, and this is just some like fake thing. This is real life, everybody.
So right here's what I saw the other day when I was down here. We've got another orange ribbon, but there's no markings on this one.
So the orange ribbon is when there's a body found.
Most likely is what I've been told. That's just a fresh ribbon, but I didn't see no markings on this one. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. But you can come around this side of it and see all the central heat and air ducting. It was on the foundation right here, probably up to them top windows or over those top windows. So that'll have to be tore down, taken to the road to be hauled off.
It was an eerie sight to see the home, especially with the tree marked with orange ribbon just yards away. Even though we don't know if a body was found there, the possibility alone was deeply unsettling.
What it is a lot of people buy a second home as a retirement investment instead of putting in, in stocks or bonds. And that's where you sell it when you retire and you can live on that money. That's an investment. So people, I've had a few comments and they said, well, I don't feel sorry for them because they're their second home, but it's just their life savings basically, And also people owe hundreds of thousands of dollars on most of these homes still. So there'll be a lot of people that have to file bankruptcy. But these people here, as Ron and Patty, they helped facilitate getting in one of the campers down here because we've had campers donated for people, and it's so hard to coordinate the delivery of those. And yeah, that's we're not gonna go down there because they're not here, but they had the whole back of the house is damaged, the foundation. But Ron told me, and I'll come back and do an interview with him at some point, but this house was built very well. It's got, 4 inches of, I think he said steel around it, possibly. Very rare that any house down on this side of the river survived. See that motor home? There's a body pulled out of that one. But it's amazing, the people on the left side here, they might have got water, but they didn't lose their house. The people on the right side, all but that white house there, pretty much, that one and one more, pretty much was devastated.
The river's deeper than it used to be down there too. It's weird.
It's wider, for sure.
It's wider and it's further down.
Yeah, it probably cut it down some more, yeah, most likely.
So there were houses all here.
Yeah, you can see the foundations and
The land is gone that they found.
yeah, a lot of land, about 8 foot of land or more is gone.
If you look at the video, there was houses all the way down through here.
Wow.
See that? There used to be a house kind of on stilts right here. Yeah,
How many houses do you think were just right in here?
Who knows? I couldn't tell. I'm not a local.
I would
I've not been
say
here.
probably between the truck and fish top, probably 10 on that side.
Yeah, from down right back there and down through here.
Yeah, there was probably 10.
But on the left side, see, there's 3 right back there that didn't get washed away, but got washed off their foundation. Now this was a motor home right here.
Yep.
And I don't think that was the one that they found the body in. I think it was the other one.
I think it was the other one. That was there before.
Well, they recovered it pretty soon after the flood, I think, in the motorhome. See, they checked most of these vehicles.
Now there was a bridge right here somewhere that went out to a house.
Yeah, somewhere you crossed over and there was some. I think the one that the guy died in the motorhome was on the other side of the river.
Yeah, there used to be 2 or 3 houses right here. There used to be a house, and the river that is there used to be on the other side. So the river
re-diverted. So the river's now where a lot of people's houses was.
Where the running river is at is where houses were.
Whoa, so it re-diverted.
Yeah, re-diverted by probably 100 feet. And it took, that land went flat out, so it probably took 8 to 10 feet of dirt, wouldn't you say, John?
Some places probably more than that, yeah.
Just took it downstream.
To a new place, and then Tuesday to a new place.
But the thing that kills me is you're the only one documenting it. There's absolutely no news in here.
No.
And this is one of the worst places hit. There's no news, there's no one talking about it.
Yeah.
Nobody even knows it exists.
It's YouTubers that are bringing awareness, and TikTokers.
People that had different.
I remember the house actually. And it seemed like there was a couple of mobile homes beyond it right here.
Yeah, RV trailers probably, single wides, maybe some double wides. You see, like this person here, they want fill dirt, right?
Yeah.
But they cannot put a septic tank back in there.
No,
legally.
Not on fill. You can't put
you can't put it, even if that wasn't a flood zone, you couldn't fill in there and put a septic tank in. But it's a flood zone, and a lot of people's going to be upset when they feel, that's not something they just passed because this happened. That's just been a standard policy for a long time because they don't want fill lines living in, they don't want fill lines in, where it's going to flood and the sewage is going to go into the river. So here's some cars that Jake's probably pulled out, motorhomes. It's going to take years for people to recover.
When John showed me the location where the father and son were found, It haunted me, and I still can't get the image out of my mind. Creating this video was emotionally difficult for me, and it was hard to find the strength to complete it. This family, the 7-year-old boy's father and the mother, were they living in Green River Cove permanently, or?
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows of anybody having a 7-year-old boy up in there. So they could have been staying at an Airbnb. See, a lot of them properties were Airbnb'd. Possibly they were staying at an Airbnb. But nobody knows. I've never found none of that information out. They've not talked about it. Now, the SARS group that found them, they really can't talk about it. But somehow they said, this is just what was said to Jake. And some same story from everybody that I talked to in the area said that the boy was 7 and his dad, and that the mother was missing. Nobody knows where they come from. Matter of fact, they say they don't think nobody was missing that actually lived in Green River Cove. They don't have nobody missing that lived up there or died. As far as I can find out, there was not residents of Green River Cove. So that's a whole mystery where they would have come from. Outside of, a lot of those properties were rented as Airbnbs. As far as full-time residents there that people knew, it's like Eileen that, you did an interview with. Well, they ain't that many people that lived up in there. There's probably only 45, 50 houses up that road. And so everybody pretty much knew everybody. So they don't know where they come from. It's kind of a mystery. Were they staying in an Airbnb or camping? A lot of those houses were especially on the riverside. They were second homes, and people would go there and stay sometimes when they wanted to, or they'd Airbnb it out. Don't know where they come from, and nobody's been able to figure that out or tell. They might know. The search and rescue that found them might have more information on them, but nobody's released nothing because they're not allowed. They're not supposed to tell nothing when they recover a body.
So, Susan, this is Susan, and pronounce your last name for us.
Vigitakis.
Tell us about what happened that night. Was it morning time, or when did it happen?
It was morning. It had started the night before, but as usual, when it gets really flooded down here, like in 2018, it didn't come up as fast or as far as that ever before. So I was still here, and so I was watching the water come up and through the night. And that morning, I looked out, and I had been up already all night, and I saw that the water my cars were floating in it, and then there was a landslide beside the house. It just went floop and took off the porches. And so then I looked across the street, and I was looking outside because I have big picture windows, and I saw the house across the street blew up.
Blew up? What do you mean by that? Did it caught fire?
I heard a large boom.
Really?
And I looked across the street, and it had caught fire, maybe from the propane tank.
Well, that's crazy.
Because it was already in the middle of the water, was already,
the water was in it, and it blew up where it was still standing, hadn't floated away.
Yeah,
but at some point, wow, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. So when I saw that, and of course the water was still continuing to rise, I knew I had to leave because that was my only choice. And if it come any higher than, the water.
How high did it get before you left?
It was all the way a couple stairs from the bottom, from the second level, and it's a 3-story house.
Oh, the whole first floor then, about 6-7 foot into the first floor.
I think it was 7 or 8 feet in the first
So you went up to the second floor?
I was on the second floor when I looked outside. So then I have 3 cats, so I took them to the top level, and I had already gathered like a backpack and some waterproof pants and a jacket. So I got those on and got the backpack and put my birth certificate and 2 flashlights, some little bit of
Was it still dark when you left?
No, it was daylight, because it was like after 9:30, 10:30. And so, I looked out one last time, like, oh, it's time to go, the river's coming. So the best way for me to go was out the back sliding windows. So I went out those to to the rhododendrons behind it, which were still solid, because to the right was the mudslide and to the left I wasn't sure what was happening there. So I just made my way through the woods and was kind of fighting through the rhododendrons.
Did you? I heard you might have called your husband at some point.
Yeah, I tried to text, but there was no internet and no cell signal.
Yeah.
So I was just texting like I left out the back door and I'm headed up the mountain because.
So he didn't know the water was getting up. You hadn't messaged him before that.
No.
So it's kind of all of a sudden for you then. It just
yeah.
happened.
He knew it was raining the night before and that he had seen that the hurricane was coming. So, but
And
I
where was
just
he
hiked
at?
to the. He was in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Because he's a helicopter pilot and he works taking people off and on the oil rigs. So he was doing that and watched the weather and saw that it was coming straight for us. So he drove up during the night.
So you hiked up to Saluda?
Hiked up. And I have a friend who I noticed halfway up, the Facebook lit up. I don't know how or why.
Got signal when you got to the top of the mountain.
Near the top. So
Yeah.
I texted and said, hi, I'm in the woods. And he said, do you need help? And I said, yes, I'm not exactly sure I am because there's acres and acres.
Yes, it's quite a ways to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, but I had seen an orange marker on a tree, and so it was the zip line. It ended up being the zip line's emergency hiking trail. So I had followed that and kind of was just trying to follow going up the whole way, but I was still a bit from the top. So he eventually was able to hike down and found the path down. And I was about maybe a mile from the top at that point, and it was like hours later. It was raining really hard.
Still
And
raining
so,
that morning, yeah.
So I found a little shelter where, the zip line has platforms and things. And so I stopped there under the rain and so that it would be a spot that was recognizable.
Wow.
So,
And your pets?
they made it. They did make it
In
the
the
next
house?
day. Some volunteers also said that they would help hike them back up because there was no way to drive down except for ATV. So they're okay. We saved them. Yeah.
So this is Fast Fred's property. He has got a new shed built by volunteers, and that was thanks to Saluda Pantry in Shannon, Brookshire. A trailer, he was the first one here to get an RV. Jake's pulled both of these containers out, one today, this red one just came out today, but Fred was here when this happened, and the water started getting up, and he went over here to this house and stayed the night, parked his car up behind it, and he got to film his house washing away. And he was the first one with live updates because that house had Starlink. So day one, he started putting up videos of his house and everything that happened here. So he's the first one to get the most work done here. He was here and he hiked out of here when it happened. I think he's been here 10 years. He's a raft guide. He does rafting as a guide over in Tennessee. But this was his family's property here. But his house floated about 60 feet away, and then Jake tore it down.
A big, big roar. Power lines being just pew, pew, just whiplash effect. But all these trees just this whole stretch, the trees being, taken down, and it was very scary.
Eileen shares that her daughter walked miles on foot to reach her as the collapsed bridges made travel impossible.
And walking all the way through there and going down that big ravine, back up a ladder, coming across, like I said, about knee-deep water, and come walking in here to get to us.
That's like a few miles, right?
3 miles. But that was being packed down with anything that she could possibly carry, but no, she came in.
Local resident Jake Jarvis, owner of Precision Grading, has generously helped many families in Green River Cove by clearing debris and fallen trees at no cost.
Talk a little bit about your company and what you've been doing out here.
My own Precision Grading. We're out of Saluda, North Carolina. I started helping my immediate neighbors the day of the storm, and we pushed our way out, and it just evolved into this. We're still helping at no charge, helping anybody in need that, because nobody asked for this flood. It wasn't like they did something wrong and this is what happened. Their lives got wiped out and we're just trying to help.
Then John and I watch as Jake Jarvis excavates a suburban vehicle buried under debris and mud.
So what'd you think about that?
I was worried that maybe there would be someone in there.
Yeah, well, that one hasn't been cleared, which means it doesn't have, they never found that one when it was checking.
Yeah.
Most of them will have X's on them or numbers where they cleared it, so they never checked that one.
Yeah.
So tell everybody who you are.
Hi guys, I'm Chronicles of Olivia on YouTube and TikTok, and I'm out here just bringing awareness, just like John here, to what's going on. I'm shocked to hear that there's 40 houses that were wiped out, so in just a bit, John's gonna take us up to Fish Talk and we're gonna see what happened up there, but the mainstream media is not talking about it, and a lot of the people here are frustrated with the government, and they think that they could be doing so much more out here, and that's what we're learning through all these interviews. People are being forgotten and left in the dust, and it's really heartbreaking.